Quilter's newsletter, Machine Quilting Tips and Techniques, is brought to you by Bernina, Made to Create, and Benartex, Fabric for Quilters by Quilters.
Hi, I'm Connie Fanders with Quilter's newsletter, Machine Quilting Tips and Techniques with Bernina. So today we're going to do quilting with the Serger, where we are quilting the top of the quilt and the back of the quilt all in the same operation. I have completed 2 quilts here with this method, and today I'm going to be working on a 3rd quilt. And for this quilt I've chosen to use a Benartex fabric, and what I love about this fabric is the stripes that are with it. So with the quilts we're making, we have to cut strips of fabric. So I have a choice of either cutting my strips going this way, where I have a little bit of color in each of my strips, or I could cut my strips this way and introduce a new color of strip with every strip that I sew into my quilt. So this will be a fun fabric to play with for my next quilt. So what I have here are the fabrics already cut and prepared, and I have a 4-inch strip cut. Now to begin my quilt as you go, I'm going to take my first 2 strips, which I actually want it to be the little animal print, and I am going to place a layer of batting, which is cut the same width as my strip. So I just make a sandwich. And then the tricky part to this is, what I'm going to do is take my top fabric and put it to right sides together to that strip. I'm going to layer my batting next. Then I flip this over and I put the last strip on the bottom. So this is for my first row. Now we need to do a row of stitching right here to hold all of the layers together. So to do that row of stitching, I am going to go to my Bernina cover and chain stitch machine, which is the model L220. This is a specialty machine that will do the cover stitch and a chain stitch. A chain stitch is typically the stitch that you see on the top of like a sugar sack that you can pull at once and the whole thing will come out. A cover stitch is typically a stitch that you will see at the bottom of a t-shirt, where it has the 2 rows of stitching on top and the loops on the bottom. So I have this set up to do a cover stitch, which basically gives me a straight stitch to sew this together. The reason I like to use my chain stitch for this rather than my sewing machine is because a chain stitch is a very heavy-duty stitch, and it's going to be a very secure stitch to hold my quilt together. So now I'm ready to serge my quilt pieces together. I'm going to lower my foot. And I'm just using the edge of the presser foot as my guide. Now just that quick, I have my row of stitching on this side, and you can see the chain stitch on the other, which is very strong and very durable. Now the next step is to bring that second layer forward on this side. Then I'm going to flip it over and bring these forward on this side. So just like that, we have completed 2 rows of our quilt. The next step, the best step, would be to go into the iron and press these. Then I would go to my rotary cutter and straighten this to make sure everything is running straight. Then I'm ready for my 3rd row, which again, I place this on top, place my batting on top of that piece. I flip it to the back put the bottom strip on, and again I go to my serger. There I have serged my next row. I bring the pieces forward on the front and on the back. And just like that, we have 3 pieces or 3 strips to our quilt already done. So a serger is going to make this process go much faster, and it's going to be a very sturdy seam using that chain stitch. So that's all there is to quilting as you go. I hope you try it. Please join us again for the next episode of Machine Quilting Tips and Techniques with Bernina.
Quilter's newsletter Machine Quilting Tips and Techniques is brought to you by Bernina, Made to Create, and Bernina L220, Fabric for Quilters by Quilters.